The movie begins in Los Angeles in 1971, when Charlie wakes up and is surprised to find Mr. Church preparing breakfast. She goes to her mother's room, wakes her up, and tells her that a strange man is cooking in their kitchen. Her mother explains that his name is Mr. Church, and that from now on he will be working for them as a cook, then asks her to let her sleep a little longer. Here we learn that Mr. Church used to work for Richard, Mary's fiancé. When Mary discovered Richard was married, she left him. Still, Richard continued to support Mary and her daughter, even though Charlie was not his child. Mr. Church makes breakfast for them, and although the food looks delicious, Charlie refuses to eat it and tells her mother she just wants cereal, then leaves. Later, when Mary takes her daughter to the school bus, Charlie asks her to fire the cook because they don't need him. Mary returns home and tries to tell Mr. Church they won't need his services, but he explains that he knows she has cancer, and Richard told him she only has 6 months to live. That's why Richard asked him to cook for her and Charlie during that time. After her death, Richard promised to pay him a monthly salary for life. Mary agrees to let him stay, but on one condition: he must never tell Charlie about her illness. He accepts. A little later, Mr. Church says he's going to the supermarket. Mary tells him she only has $12, but he reassures her that Richard opened an account for him to cover food, bills, rent, and her medical treatment. She gives him a bunch of coupons she had collected and says he can use them instead. At the store, he saves about $37 using the coupons. At school, Charlie meets her friend Poppy and they share the food Mr. Church made. They both love it. During recess, Charlie notices Owen, the most popular boy at school, and becomes infatuated with him. On the bus ride home, she meets Eddie Larson, a troubled young man who, just a week after getting his license, drove drunk, crashed into a mother and child, and accidentally killed the child. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison and permanently banned from driving. The incident left him deeply traumatized, and now he travels everywhere by bus. When Charlie arrives at the bus stop near her home, her mother is waiting. Charlie asks if she fired the cook, but her mother says no, because they need him. At home, they are greeted by the smell of Mr. Church's food. They find him placing his books on a shelf and telling them they can borrow any book they want. Charlie says she doesn't like reading and leaves for her room. At dinner, Mary insists that Charlie come out and eat. Reluctantly, Charlie joins and ends up loving the food. From that day on, she grows used to Mr. Church's delicious cooking and looks forward every day to what he will make. She even starts inviting Poppy over, and Mr. Church cooks for them. Sometimes, while they eat, he sketches them. Over time, Charlie gets used to having him in the house until 8 p.m. every day, when he leaves, only to return the next morning. One day, Charlie asks him to recommend a book. He gives her The Three Musketeers. From then on, she begins reading every book in his library. Despite the doctors giving Mary only 6 months to live, she survives 6 years. By 1977, Charlie is finishing high school. Owen asks her to be his date for prom, surprising her. When she comes home, she checks on her mother to make sure she's still alive. Although she loves her, Mary's illness is a heavy burden on Charlie. Charlie tells Mr. Church about Owen's invitation. At this point, we see how he manages everything in the house. He cooks, gives Mary her medicine on time, and takes care of all responsibilities. Charlie's only duty is looking after her mother, which is very hard for her. While bathing her mother one day, Charlie asks if she's received any college acceptance letters. Mary says she got into Boston University but can't afford the tuition. Mary reassures her they'll find a way, and adds that Mr. Church told her about Owen's invitation. She insists Charlie must wear a beautiful dress and be the prettiest girl at the party. She promises she'll live long enough to hear all about it when Charlie returns. Charlie cries and leaves. Mr. Church enters, hides his emotions, and silently helps. That same evening, Charlie asks Mr. Church where he goes every night and if he has a family. He becomes angry, telling her never to ask about his private life again, and leaves. Later, Charlie and Mary choose a prom dress, which Mr. Church tailors himself. On the night of prom, Charlie looks stunning in the dress. Her mother gives her a necklace to wear, and they take a photo together with Mr. Church. When Owen arrives, he is captivated by her beauty, and they spend the night at the dance. Meanwhile, Mary asks Mr. Church to take care of her daughter after she's gone. She also asks him to dance with her, and it's clear she has grown very weak. The next day, when Charlie returns from the bus stop, Mr. Church is waiting, Mary has passed away. Charlie breaks down, and he comforts her. At the funeral, all her friends attend. That night, for the first time, Charlie sees Mr. Church cry. When she asks what he'll do next, he admits he hasn't thought about it. Then he hands her an envelope containing all the money he saved from the grocery coupons Mary gave him. He explains he'd been saving it for her. She thanks him, as the money will allow her to attend Boston University. With part of it, she buys a small car and asks Larson to teach her how to drive, which she learns quickly. On her last day in Los Angeles, she has lunch out with Mr. Church. He jokingly orders cornflakes for them, remembering her first refusal to eat his food. The next day, she packs a few belongings and asks him to keep anything of her mother's he wants, and to donate the rest. After that, she said goodbye to him and began her journey to Boston. After driving 300 miles, she finally arrived at the university in 1977. There, she made new friends, none of whom knew anything about her past. Charlie focused heavily on her studies, but at the same time went out and partied with her friends. Just as had happened with her mother years before, Charlie entered into a relationship that ended with her becoming pregnant. The father, however, refused to have anything to do with the child. After graduation, she returned to Los Angeles, where she realized she had no one to turn to except Mr. Church. She knew his address from the letters he had sent her during college, so she went to visit him. As she expected, he welcomed her warmly into his home without asking about her pregnancy or the baby's father. When she asked if she could stay with him for a few days, he agreed, on the condition that she respect his privacy. She agreed, and he showed her the room where she would sleep. That very night, he went out to a bar called Jelly's. Late at night, he returned drunk, speaking loudly, saying, "You'll never control me." Charlie woke to his voice, saw him drop a matchbox with the bar's name on the dining table, and then watched him go into his room. She took the matchbox and hid it in her drawer. The next morning, she woke to find he had made her breakfast, and they ate together. He had also set up a typewriter for her so she could begin writing her thesis. That night, after he left, she snuck into his room hoping to learn something about him. But to her shock, he caught her. Angry, he threw her out of the house. When she pleaded that it was too late at night and she had nowhere to go, he didn't listen and forced her to leave. She ended up sleeping in her car. The next morning, while buying groceries, she ran into Larson by chance. They chatted briefly before parting. As she walked back to her car, a boy on a skateboard collided with her, knocking her to the ground and rendering her unconscious. Larson rushed to help, lifted her into her car, and, despite not having driven in years, overcame his fear and drove quickly to the hospital. When Charlie regained consciousness, the doctor told her that a miracle had happened, the baby had survived. When asked who was responsible for her, she hesitated. At that moment, Mr. Church arrived and told the doctor, "I'm responsible for her." From that day on, Charlie lived with Mr. Church. He cooked for her daily, and when he wasn't cooking, he painted or played the piano. When the time came, he took her to the hospital, where she gave birth to a baby girl she named Isabel. From then on, Isabel became Charlie's entire world, and Mr. Church helped raise her and took care of both mother and daughter. By 1986, Isabel had grown into a cheerful little girl who loved Mr. Church as if he were her grandfather. One day, they attended Larson's wedding. Charlie told Larson, "If it weren't for you, after God's will, Isabel wouldn't be here." Larson replied, "The day I met you, I had decided to end my life. But after what happened to you, I changed my mind, quit drinking, and started going to recovery meetings. That's where I met my wife, we fell in love, and today we're getting married. You saved my life, not the other way around." Then he went to dance with his new wife. Charlie later asked Mr. Church if he had ever married. He told her he had once, only because his father pressured him to settle down. He agreed because he feared his father, who abused him verbally and physically. But the marriage quickly failed, and they divorced shortly after. When Charlie asked him to dance with her, he accepted, and they danced together. Days later, Mr. Church managed to track down Poppy, Charlie's old friend. Poppy arrived in a luxurious limousine and took Charlie and Isabel to her mansion. She showed off her expensive dresses and jewelry. When Charlie asked if she had married, Poppy said she had, twice, but divorced both times. At the mall later, Poppy suggested introducing Charlie to wealthy men, saying at least then she wouldn't have to spend her life with her cook. Angry, Charlie replied that Mr. Church wasn't her cook, he was the man who had saved her and her mother. After Mary's 6 months turned into 6 years, he continued supporting them without pay. "I respect this man deeply," Charlie told her. "I won't let anyone insult him. How did you become so arrogant? Do you really think money is everything? I work, I raise my daughter, and I'm happy. Unlike you, you have everything, yet I'm sure you're miserable." She then left with Isabel. Poppy was visibly affected. The next day, she sent Isabel an expensive gift and sent Charlie diamond earrings, along with a note that read, "You are the most precious jewel in my life." That night, Mr. Church returned home drunk as usual, shouting at his father, who existed only in his imagination. Charlie saw him stumble into his room, then heard him collapse. She rushed in, helped him to bed, and covered him. The next day, they didn't speak of it, but from that night on, Mr. Church stopped going out. His health began to decline, and a persistent cough appeared. Charlie took him to the doctor, only to discover that the physician was Owen. He reassured her that Mr. Church only needed rest and medicine. Later, Charlie and Owen spoke, and he asked about Isabel's father. She told him he wanted nothing to do with them. Owen admitted that after finishing medical school, he had searched for her everywhere but couldn't find her. The next day, Charlie woke up to find no breakfast ready. Alarmed, she rushed to his room and found him lying in bed. He told her he just wanted to rest. She left him and prepared breakfast herself, for the first time ever. To her surprise, she cooked just like Mr. Church, as if she had absorbed his skills after years of watching him. The food turned out delicious. Over time, Mr. Church's condition worsened. One night, Charlie sat beside him, reading him a story, just as he used to do for her mother. When she rose to leave, not wanting to intrude on his privacy, he said, "No, I want you to stay with me." That night, she fell asleep on the couch in his room. By morning, she discovered he had passed away. Devastated, she broke down in tears. At the funeral, all her friends came, along with a man named Frankie, who introduced himself as the owner of Jelly's Bar and a friend of Mr. Church. He told Charlie that one day, Mr. Church came into his bar and played the piano, mesmerizing everyone. From then on, he performed there every night, for free. This deepened Charlie's admiration for him, a man who gave so much without ever asking for anything in return. After the service, Charlie entered Mr. Church's room and opened his closet. Inside, she found a box with her name on it. Inside were a photo of her, her mother, and Mr. Church together, his sketchbook containing drawings of her and Poppy eating, and a letter. It read, "I want you to know that you gave me the most precious gift in life, a sense of belonging, of being part of a family that loves me." Charlie was deeply moved. From then on, she continued her life with Isabel. Together, they cooked and lived happily in the home of the man who had given them everything in exchange for nothing but love and the feeling of family. To honor him, Charlie began writing his life story with them in a book titled Mr. Church. And that is where the film ends.